Hey y'all, welcome to a brand new episode of the Talkoffame podcast. I'm Kylie, and today we are spotlighting another Elvis tribute artist who I've been following for quite some time now, Sebastian Garland. Sebastian is a 17-year-old Elvis tribute artist who goes to an art school and he's from Orlando, Florida. Thank you so much, Sebastian, for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you on.
I'm happy to be here.
So I know but you literally just hit your 1 year anniversary of being a Elvis tribute artist, and you're 17 years old, which is, absolutely crazy to me that you're doing this so young. But like how did you kind of get started as a tribute artist?
So my dad was always kind of into Elvis, but it was never like he never really thought I would be into it at all. Um, and I don't really know where I discovered it. I just know eventually I was like, oh yeah, I like this guy. This is good music. And then I performed for the first time in front of an audience in first grade. At my school's talent show, and after that, I didn't really think much of it. And then it wasn't until after the movie came out with Austin Butler that I was like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." And so I was sitting in a hotel room in West Palm Beach, and I was like, "If he can do it, I can do it." So that's kind of where I just started watching a bunch of the guys that are my idols, but I started watching them and figuring out how they did things and where they got costume pieces from, and just went from there.
I'm literally so glad you brought the Elvis movie up because that is literally like one of my favorite movies because I'm a big Elvis fan as well. So, and like once I saw that movie and you said, I'm like, God, now I have to bring this up. That's going to be a whole other discussion. But how did you kind of feel about that movie?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I thought it as going into it, I had very low expectations, not knowing really what was going to happen within it or how they were going to take it. Because I mean, you could ask any person their opinions on Elvis, and it's either going to be a good opinion. Well, I don't want to say it's a good opinion or a bad opinion. It's either they enjoyed his music and him as a person, or they did not. And
Hmm.
so I was interested to see what aspect they were going to go for, either the negative side or the good side or both. But it was, and like not knowing much about Austin Butler, it was interesting going into it and being like, because when I saw him for the first time, I was like, that's Elvis, like that's crazy. And then after I saw him, I was like, yeah, there's no one else that could have done this.
Oh, 100%. Like once I saw the movie in theaters, like a little while after it came out, I'm just like, all the movies about Elvis, this needs to stop at this one because
Yeah.
this movie was so good. Like, dude, Austin Butler literally did it so great that I'm just like, they
There's
literally
nothing else to
close the
compare
gap.
it to.
Yeah, there's no one else they could have picked. Like, I don't know how the audition process went or if they kind of choose specific
Right.
people, but I'm like, thank God they chose Austin Butler because I don't know if it would have been that good if Austin Butler wasn't in it.
Right.
Like, did you see the Priscilla movie as well? Or you
I
haven't seen
did. In fact, I just watched it again last night.
Oh my God,
Um,
what a coincidence.
and it I knew going into that after watching the Elvis movie, and like I waited a bit to watch the Priscilla movie just because I knew what side it was coming from.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was like, okay, so if this is definitely like the Elvis movie is the positive side, this is that negative side that I was worried about. And it was, I went into it with an open mind, not because I've never read Priscilla's book at all.
Mhm.
Um, and I went into it with an open mind, like, okay, so this is from a different perspective. Like, I know this isn't going to be like the pretty side. This is going to show the negative side and like what other people think happened. Because I have friends who like I've talked to them about Elvis before, and they're like, no, he's a bad person. He did all this, and I'm like, except that you don't know that. And
Mhm.
so it's interesting. It was just I knew going into it how it was going to play out, but I didn't. I mean, it was still like I loved it, and I thought Jacob Elordi was like I didn't realize how close he looked to him until after like there's a scene where they're at a pool, not to spoil it or anything. They're having a pool party and like he's like crawling on top of Priscilla while she's laying in a chair, and I like his side profile just looks so much like him.
I
It was like,
know,
oh
right?
wow.
I thought the
I
same
was like,
exact thing. Like, I
I
was
was
like,
like,
"There's no
wow.
he looks exactly like him until you see that side profile you're not seeing, you're just like, oh, okay, like, this
It just I
exactly."
get surprised every time watching any of these movies where I'm like, okay, I don't see that actor as them, and then I see them in the role, and I'm like, wow, they really do look like
I know, you just,
them.
like you have to watch it a few times to actually realize,
Yeah,
like, usually the first time you're like, "Okay, this actor doesn't look exactly like this person, they don't look him at all," but
right,
once you
right.
kinda see him more often, you're like, "Okay, I
Yeah, I
actually
kind of
do
see
think
it.
they look." But, like, when I saw the Priscilla movie, I never read the Priscilla's book. I knew about the book, but I never read it, and I still haven't read it, but I'm planning on doing so. But I was like, I once I saw the Elvis movie, I didn't think the Priscilla movie was gonna be as good as the Elvis movie, but I was like,
Right,
I just kept an open mind. But once I saw the Priscilla movie, I'm just like, I didn't expect it to kind of be very dark in a way.
right. And it was so weird because I mean, it felt like right after the Elvis movie had like gained popularity, like all of a sudden there were now set pictures coming out of Priscilla, and I was like, well, that was fast.
I know. It
And
was like
it's
maybe a couple of weeks or months after the
yeah,
release.
and it was so weird because I saw someone right before I went and saw the movie that took like a picture from every frame in the Elvis movie and then took a picture of every frame in the Priscilla movie and compared them side by side. And it was so cool because you could see the Elvis movie so bright and colorful. It's
Mhm,
like you're looking at a rainbow, and then you look at the Priscilla movie and it's all like dull and gray and
mhm.
dark. And it was like that's so weird to see even just that comparison.
I
It was
know. Like
very
I
interesting.
yeah, I kind of want to see that side by side comparison, but it's like you really like I did watch the Elvis movie a few weeks ago, and I'm just like, gosh, like there's some dark moments, but I'm just like, this is that not compared to
Right.
the movie whatsoever.
No, no, no.
But do you have any songs that you like to typically perform on each gig?
Hmm. So I know like I get asked this question frequently, but not too often.
I know
Um,
there's so many good Elvis songs. I'm just like, which one do I actually choose? There's like probably like a million on my
it's like I
list.
have a favorite for every era. Like 50s, I think I know like uh I really like doing Trouble. That
Mm,
one's really fun to do when I'm like up on a like bigger stage because I like to be able to like get on the ground and like get to the nitty gritty parts of Elvis where it's like
mhm,
getting in people's faces. Um, I also like performing a lot of like the movie songs. So like Mean Woman Blues is one of my favorites to perform. There's a lot of movement that I like to do with that one. When it comes to the 60s, um, I like doing the 68 comeback medley with Heartbreak
oh,
Hotel, All Shook Up, and Hound Dog.
oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, he was just, it's fun for me to just be able to play around with the aspect of getting down low on my knees. It does hurt my legs though, because
Oh,
like the
I can
entire time
imagine.
he's like in a squat. So it's hard to like keep that. And then for 70s, um, I'm a big like opera person.
Mm,
So like I study with an professor at Florida Southern as a vocal teacher. So a lot of his like operatic type songs, just like the ballads of standing there and just powerhousing through it.
yeah.
Those songs really, I like to do those as well. So
I know, like I feel like if I had to choose a favorite, there's so many Elvis songs that I love, but it's like like any song they perform at the 68 comeback special is probably my personal favorite because it's like of course it's for his kind of first live performance. I think
right,
since
right.
he came back from Germany and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, it just feels it's just something about it that is like so cool about it.
Yeah, it's so different from the 50s aspect of like I mean, he just wore suits and sparkles and pink, and then out of nowhere you just have this black leather raw and like dirty, and it's so different from what he was doing prior.
I know, right? And I believe they had that suit at Graceland in one of those
Yeah, they
boxes
do.
they I believe.
Yeah, they do. It's a very one of the suits that I hope to see one day.
I know, I'm on the same boat. If I see that thing in person, I'd be like, I seriously wanted to grab it and just take it home.
I know.
There's so many cool outfits that he wore. But what is kind of a costume that you kind of hope to wear from one of Elvis's earaches? I know there's so many
Oh,
iconic outfits, like the
there's so
black suit,
many.
but
There's so many. Lately I've been looking to find a replica of the gold lame jacket.
mm,
That's one that I've been wanting forever. I mean, it's so iconic with his 50s era. Um, and then eventually I'd like to get a 68 leather outfit. Um, and possibly an If I Can Dream suit. But since the beginning, I've always wanted in Elvis, that's the way it is, the white concho suit
mm.
with the silver conchos all over it. That's one of my favorite suits. I like the simplistic early 70s outfits or suits that had like the just plain white with little tiny details all over it. Nothing like too big and crazy.
I know, because there's so many, like he wore a lot of white outfits, I
There's so
realized.
many.
There's just so many. I'm just like his probably go-to color was probably white, but how many
Yeah.
outfits he wore? Which is I'm
Well,
like, I
and
could never do white. I could never.
right, and I'd get it dirty.
I know I'll get dirty probably the first, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes and I would never go to war again. But do you think you and Elvis have anything in common? Like, if so, do you kind of see kind of a kind of similarity?
um, yes and no. There's some things that I feel like definitely like family wise, there's things that we connect a lot. Like he was very close to his parents and um very close to his brother that died when he was born. Like um even after his brother had died, like he still went and visited him. Like regularly would go talk to him. And I have two brothers and one I don't see very often, so I connect to him and talk to him all the time and like whenever I can.
Yeah.
Um, and then just growing up in that um, southern style home. I'm from Indiana originally, so that small town kind of countryside area.
Yeah, like with Elvis, like once they told in early the Elvis movie, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the Elvis movie. When they kind of showed that part where his mom has like his son, like a twin brother, died at birth, I'm like, oh my god, like why is this?
Yeah.
This is absolutely crazy. Because when I became an Elvis fan years ago, because my aunt is obsessed with Elvis ever since I was a baby, and it is continuing to grow. And I was like, oh, he just become an only child, knew nothing. And once I saw the movie, I'm just like, God, here we go again. My gosh. But it was so heartbreaking to see that. Like, there's so many things
Yeah.
that I didn't know until I saw that movie, and I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm not a know-it-all Elvis fan, I guess at that point.
There's a lot that like people don't know like about him. Like they know the image of Elvis and like they know like the jumpsuits and the hair and they know some of the songs, but they don't know deeper down like what he was really like.
Yeah, because I know with the Priscilla movie, it did kind of show him as kind of like not abusive, but he kind of took advantage of so many things
Right, right,
and kind of, took drugs. That kind of showed that in Elvis movie as well. But it's like it really, but with the Priscilla movie, it really showed him as kind of like a dark person and was kind of like a know-it-all
right.
in some situations. And I'm just like, which one do I actually believe? Like,
Well, and
who's
like
he
when I
actually?
was watching it last night, I was like, I don't know. It really leaves up to the viewer's mind, like how you're gonna perceive him in the Priscilla movie. Because there were a lot of moments where like he would like do something that was like, okay, that wasn't okay, but then like immediately after would do something that I was like, okay, that's the Elvis I know, but
Yeah.
it's like it's so hard to see each side of it, and I'm like, I don't know what to look at.
Yeah, because of course, when there's like a maybe an abusive moment, he'll just have an abusive moment for like 5 minutes,
Right.
and then he'll have a sweet side, like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like it's like
Right.
the
That's
thinking
like,
personality. I'm like, what
hmm.
is? going
What
on with me.
happened?
But like, have you? I know with Graceland, it's literally one of the most iconic places in the United States. I never personally been, but I've been dying to. But have you ever been to Graceland?
Oh, no. So I have been wanting to go forever. My dad has always promised me one day we'll go, and we've never made it down there yet. I'm hoping though, because I'm graduating high school this year. Woohoo! Um,
Gosh, I'm
I'm
jealous.
hoping that I can go as like a senior trip, or even better, this would be what I'd love to do. Um, Possibly going and competing in their Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Contest, and which I'm going to Nashville next weekend for their Tribute Artist Festival, which I can go if I win. I go to the Ultimate and compete there. But that would be either way. Getting to visit it is surreal to me. So
I
that would
know, like
be
that
one
has
day.
really been on top of my bucket list for like years. I've never been, but I've seen so many people going. I'm just like, take me with you,
I
please.
know. I'm like, it's like I can almost like it feels like I'm there just by watching other people go.
I know, I'm like, you're just living out my dreams. It's I don't know you, but I'm just like, you're just living out my dreams.
One
So yeah.
day.
But like, like I know as a tribute artist at 17 years old, I know with having gigs, high school, and everything can take a lot. But how do you kind of pick up gigs as a tribute artist, especially from being from Orlando?
So Orlando is not a very Elvis knowing place, if that
Oh
makes
yeah.
sense. Like Florida in general, just most of America is really not into that scene anymore. Like it feels like it's kind of grown out of it, which
Hmm.
is really sad. But there there comes a time where you can find places that like you'll see it and be like, oh, that place would definitely have something like that there. Or if they don't have it yet, they need it now. My first show, that was about a year ago. It was at a place here. It's a citrus farm called Showcase of Citrus. And I had been there a long time ago before they recently renovated. And I had seen while I was there, they had like an Elvis bust, and I was like, oh, like that's kind of cool. And like I've always known they collect like old vintage statues and posters and stuff like that to decorate. And so when I had decided this is what I wanted to do, um, we were driving down the road and I saw it and I was like, oh, wait a minute, don't they have like a bunch of vintage stuff in there? And they just renovated, so like maybe they're looking for maybe they do entertainment. I don't know. So I went to their website and saw that they do entertainment. So I reached out and I was like, hey, would you be willing to have me there? Like I've never done this before and I'm just trying to get to know people. And so they called me. I was in the middle of a rehearsal for my school's musical, The Drowsy Chaperone. And we were entering tech week and we are like literally in the middle of a scene and I got the call and I was like, I'm gonna need a second. So I ran out into like the theater's lobby and I was like, hello, this is Sebastian. And they were like, they're like, hey, we saw your email. We'd like to have you here sometime. You'd fit right in. And like just told me they were looking at Saturdays. And I was like, well, I've got a show right now, so I can't do Saturdays, but I can do like a Sunday if you guys are okay with that. And so they're like, sure, we'll send you some dates. And then I just pick and choose whatever days I'm free, and then they just have me there whenever they need me.
Gosh, it seems like easy peasy to me. It's like I wish like
It's
all of the bookings I do will go through that similar process. Like, gosh, that
sure, I'm
must be the
available whenever.
easiest
Just call me.
gig, first gig ever. I swear, that must be the probably the easiest gig for you to get.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a great beginning steps to figuring out what I'm the next steps for my show personally. Um, and then when it comes to like contests and stuff, um, I can. I'm hoping next year I can go to more because I won't be um in school anymore. So like I have more free time to go visit wherever. But like I just got lucky with Nashville being like right the weekend after my birthday. So a lot of these contests that go to the ultimate, you have to be 18 and older. And I was like, okay, well this contest is like the weekend after my birthday, so I'll just barely be 18. So I was like marking down every contest that's after my birthday, and I was like, okay, so I
Honestly,
can go
I'm
to
just
this
gonna
one, I
set
can
up
go to
right
this
now
one, I
for
can go to
everything
this
after
one.
18. That
Yeah,
is actually
so that was
like
kind of
a
how that one.
great idea.
Yeah, so that was how I came across that one.
That's crazy. But before we, wrap up, like how can people connect with you on social media and everything?
You can find me on Instagram as the Florida Elvis. You can also find me on Facebook as Sebastian Garland. Um, I don't currently have a website, but on my Facebook and Instagram, I upload videos regularly. Um, and I tend to post more on Instagram than Facebook, but I keep up to date where I'm at and what I'm up to and where you can see me next.
Sweet. I know like not Facebook, but Instagram is just more popular on my
Yeah.
so it's like,
Well,
okay, what's the switch to
and in the
Instagram?
Elvis world, I mean, your audience is somewhat older, so posting
Yeah.
on Facebook reaches those people. So,
Yeah. So if you want to attract younger audiences, TikTok or Instagram is for you. That's how I usually go for it. But I want
that's
to
where you can find me.
definitely, but thank you so much for, joining us. I'm
Of
super
course.
happy you were able to join us. You are basically have more confidence than I do. At 17 years old performing as a tribute artist, I could never. But thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much, Sebastian, for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.